guys, today I want to talk to you about the most hated woman in Utah.
This is Megan Huntsman. Megan and her husband, Darren West, and their 3 daughters lived in Pleasant Grove, Utah. On April 13th, 2014, Darren was cleaning out his garage when he came across a box. Upon opening it, he was shocked to find the body of a deceased infant, which had been wrapped in a towel and placed in a plastic bag in the box. When police arrived, they walked into a nightmare. 6 more boxes were soon recovered, also in the garage, all of which contained the remains of deceased infants. Each baby had been wrapped in towels or shirts, put inside plastic bags, stored inside the box, which had then been taped shut with electrical tape. It didn't take long for Megan to confess. Between 1996 and 2006, Megan somehow hid her pregnancies from Darren and their 3 other living children. Within 2 minutes of giving birth, she would strangle all 6 babies to death. During that time, Megan was addicted to methamphetamine and claimed that she couldn't afford to keep the babies and still buy drugs, which is why she had to kill them. Megan claims that she didn't murder her 3 living children only because other people knew about the pregnancies. Megan was arrested and sentenced to 6 terms of 5 years to life in prison. She will be eligible for parole in 2064. That shocked the entire Texas community. A case that desperately needs answers. This is the unsolved murder of Elizabeth Barraza. At around 7 a.m. on January 25th, 2019, 29-year-old Elizabeth started setting up for a garage sale in front of her home in Tomball, Texas, when an unidentified person approached her. They then shot Elizabeth 4 times at point-blank range, killing her. Elizabeth's Ring doorbell video footage, although placed out of view, was able to capture the audio of the attack as well as what her killer did next. In the audio, you can hear someone approach Elizabeth, which startles her. She says, "Good morning," and then the unidentified person shoots Elizabeth 3 times, at which point she falls to the ground. Her killer then stands over her, shooting her 1 final time in the head. The Ring doorbell video footage then shows her killer speed away in a 4-wheel drive Nissan Frontier with a Pro 4X sticker, which they had parked up the street from Elizabeth's house and had been left running. This is the closest image to the truck Elizabeth's killer was driving. It was quickly determined that Elizabeth's murder was not random, as neighboring home surveillance footage captured the killer's truck casing the neighborhood and Elizabeth's house the night before the murder and the morning of. They were waiting for her husband, Sergio, to leave. Surveillance footage from the home across the street was able to capture the entire murder as it unfolded. In the video, you can see Elizabeth's killer, who was wearing a bathrobe with either long hair or wearing a wig and boots, park their truck up the street and then walk to approach Elizabeth. After, they run back to their truck. But sadly, even capturing her murder on video has not been enough to identify Elizabeth's killer. It's now been 2 years and there has yet to be a lead. The police's theory is that the killer was not working alone, as video footage shows the truck coming back by the house minutes after the shooting to make sure Elizabeth was actually dead. Elizabeth was putting together this garage sale in hopes to make some extra money for her and Sergio's upcoming 5-year anniversary trip to Disney. And unlike most garage sales, Elizabeth did not broadcast that she was having one, which confirms the fact that her murder was not random. I'm going to add the video footage of the moments leading up to her murder and the moments right after. I'm skipping over the graphic parts as it's not necessary to see. Viewer discretion is advised. How is it possible to vanish into thin air while physically talking to another person? This is the strange disappearance of Brandon Swanson. On May 13th, 2008, 19-year-old Brandon attended a couple of parties to celebrate completing his very first year of college at Minnesota West Community and Technical College in Canby, Minnesota. The first party Brandon attended was in Lind, which was about 7 miles from Marshall, Minnesota, where he lived. There, he chatted with friends, had a beer or 2, and decided to leave around 10:30 to 11:30 p.m. Friends at this party claimed that Brandon did not seem intoxicated and was very clear-headed. Brandon then went to a party in Canby, which is about 30 miles away from Lind and Marshall. There, he had 1 shot of whiskey and at around midnight decided it was time to go home. And again, his friend stated that at this party, he still did not seem intoxicated. Brandon normally took Highway 68 home. It was a straight shot and he had driven it many times. But on this night, for whatever reason, he decided to take a back road home. At around 1:15 a.m., Brandon drove his Chevrolet Lumina into a ditch and was unable to get out. 30 minutes later, he called his parents asking them to come and pick him up, giving them very specific directions of where exactly he was at and that he was near Lind. His parents, Annette and Brian, stayed on the phone with him until they got to where Brandon said he was, but they couldn't see him. They both agreed to flash their headlights as a signal, but they still couldn't see each other. This was odd, as this particular area is super flat and would be easy to see each other. At 2:17 a.m., Brandon, being frustrated that they couldn't find him, tells his parents that he sees Lynn's city lights and is just going to walk there to grab a friend. He tells them that he's going to cut through fields to make the walk shorter and is actively describing what he sees: a couple of fences, that he could hear running water, and that he's walking on a gravel road. At around 3:10 a.m., 47 minutes into the phone call with his parents, Brandon yells, "Oh shit," and the call ends. His parents repeatedly try calling him back, but he never answers. They search along Highway 68, but find no trace of him. At 6:30 the next morning, they report Brandon missing to the police, in which they said it wasn't unusual for a young man Brandon's age to stay out all night, and that he, quote, had a right to be missing, end quote. Eventually, police do start looking for him and pull up his cell phone records. Through pings, they found Brandon was actually near Porter when he called his parents, not Lynn, like he said, which is about 25 miles away. Upon further investigation, police found Brandon's car about 1.5 miles from Taunton. It was on a gravel road, and because of that, there were no footprints indicating which way Brandon went. Extensive ground and air searches were conducted, but absolutely no trace of Brandon was found. Bloodhounds were brought in and tracked his scent down Country Road 16 onto an abandoned driveway of a farm next to Yellow Medicine River, and at one point in the river but getting back out and then leading to a drainage point. There his scent ends. The river was searched for 30 days but turned up absolutely nothing. What Brandon saw that night that made him yell "oh shit" remains a mystery. It has now been 13 years and Brandon's disappearance remains unsolved. To this day, Brandon's parents leave their light on in hopes one day he will come back home.